Okay.
Hey, Charlie.
Yes, ma'am.
If you lose me, it's because my internet is screwing up while I'm driving.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to try and stay in the whole time, but I don't know what it's going to do while I'm driving down the road.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time out to be here.
Well, of course I would be here.
So I have launched the Shamanic Path, which is this new course, and I had a beta group, and I've had a few students that were kind enough to show up today that can also help answer any questions that you may have regarding the course, how the course has affected them, and what it entails from their perspective. Because sometimes in a mentor-teacher perspective, it can be different than it can be for the student. And I want you guys to have the option to hear from all angles and all aspects, so you have a clear understanding of what it entails and encompasses from all angles. I created this course as a way to bring awareness of the shamanic path to everybody possible, quite honestly, that doesn't really know where to begin on the journey, that they may be drawn to it and they're not really sure why, or they just kind of like, oh, that's like healing. That's really cool, but I don't know what that entails. Or my favorite is everybody's like, that's the nature thing, right? That's like the nature thing. Everybody that likes nature does that in metaphysics. So this for me was an absolute labor of love in developing, and I hope that you guys will find the same love and sense of fulfillment as I did when I went down this path. And I just want to take a moment to thank you all for allowing me to, even this tiny little snapshot in your journey, allowing me to accompany you in that at this moment. When I first met my shamanic mentor, I actually had no knowledge of what the difference between a shaman and just a metaphysical healer was. And he did not give me papers or handouts or bulleted list or graphs. I was taught the old way. I was taught orally. Simply being in his presence was a class. Every word, every movement, every meditation, that was a class that I attended. And it's my belief that if you have called this energy into your life, and people that are ready to be taught in this manner, those are the people that are here right now today. And those are the people that wish to have the same wisdom and information passed down to them that was passed down from me. And I will, again, pass down to as many others as I can one day as well. And I had the unique benefit of being mentored by a man that had a vast and diverse understanding of many, many metaphysical cultures and religions. And he believed that they all held truth, as do I. And as you continue with this course, you'll see that the lines blur and blend between cultures and religions. And as the course progresses, soon you will leave behind the separation of different sects, that's S-E-C-T-S, and embrace it as a whole. And hopefully by the end, you will come to appreciate it as much as I have. Now, the first, because I have it broke up into 3, so it's going to be like the shamanic path. 1 is going to be for the beginners. And that would be for someone who absolutely just wants to kind of get their feet wet, get the understanding. We will still do the 5 rites. We will do 7 ceremonies, 5 rites. We will discuss the difference between having an attunement and having a mentor download. We will discuss sacred space. how to open that properly, how to work with the elements, who your shamanic guide is, having a very clear understanding of how to communicate with your shamanic guide. You know, I don't know how to mute everybody. So if everybody could take 1 second and mute themselves, because I'm like getting a lot of feedback, sorry. Okay. So the difference between having an attunement and having a master download is really important. Again, the sacred space, opening it, learning about those elements and how to work with those energies. Really important, and like one of my favorites. I say that a lot though. I always say this is my favorite. Every part is my favorite, I guess. But working with your spirit animals, knowing who your spirit animal is and how you can work with many different types of spirit animals. And I think that's a really, really big plus and benefit. You do not have to be a Reiki master. You do not have to be a psychic medium. You do not have to have any of that to walk this path. But I will tell you, if you already have those abilities will grow. If you do not have those, you will gain those abilities, and you will have a clear understanding of what those abilities entail. You will have a clearer understanding of your energetic body and how that relates to the world around you, and how the world around you will relate to you with your energetic body. And I think right now I'm going to start with Monica. Monica, did you want to add anything to the first, when we stopped with the seers, right? Like up until that point?
Up until that point?
Yeah.
I think that up to that seers point was definitely a lot of starting to really understand yourself. And if you're not, you have to be ready to do that. You have to be ready to take a really good hard look at yourself and be willing to work whatever it is out, because in order to move forward and to truly grasp the extent of what you will be responsible for, really has to start with yourself, which means having really cleaned yourself up, clean inside and out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I absolutely agree. And I think that that's an important aspect of this, because I think a lot of people, they hear the term of shadow work, but they don't really understand what that entails. And this absolutely is part of that, because you're having to take a very clear look at who you are and where you're at on your path in your life. And you have to look at where you're at and where you want to be, and how to facilitate that using these energies and using a very old ancient tradition, which would be the shamanic tradition. And it's absolutely not for the weak. That's the only way I can put it. You have to be, and I've condensed it. You know, I worked years and years with my mentor, and I've taken years and years of knowledge and work, daily work. And I've condensed it into, you know, like the first portion is going to be 5 weeks, or no, I'm lying, 6 weeks. And the second one is 5 weeks. And the third one is 5 weeks. And you take that and you condense that in years and years and years of work, you know? So it's not for the weak. And that's why I had a beta group, because I'm like, okay, I want to see, this is what they're telling me to put out. This is what they're telling me everybody is ready for. And I wanted to make sure that I had a group of people who were in a range, you know, from very newly awakened to has been awakened since they were, you know, at birth, little toddlers. So I needed to make sure that everybody had a very successful journey before I said, okay, now I'm ready to put it out for public consumption kind of thing. I don't know if Buffy is still on here.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, it's definitely
I'm
not
still here.
But and it's definitely it's not easy. It's not easy because you are faced with really looking at yourself, and it's hard work, and you got to be willing to put the work into it, and it's not a do in an hour thing.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm still here, Charlie.
Awesome. Is there anything that you wanted to add, Miss Buffy?
Oh boy, there's so much I could add, Charlie. Up to the seer's right is definitely, like Monica said, it's internal. You really got to dig deep inside. A lot of emotional stuff to be able to be clean and clear and ready to understand the rest of the journeys. The spirit animal part for me was probably the most exciting, because I resonate with animals so much and have been drawn to shamanism because of that, and the directions and the elements are all something that intrigued me. And by the time we hit the seers right, which I remember you saying that's where a lot of people drop out because they're just not ready to go further in that, that's when I got more curious and wanted more. So you kept it very intriguing with tons of knowledge in it, and just kept us wanting more, I think.
Good.
So I've loved every minute of it, just like I do believe Monica and Frank had.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely. You really have to put the time into it. It's not easy.
It's not.
And if it
was
easy, then everybody would doing it. It's not easy, and it's not.
And I think the biggest thing that I went in with and went out with either a more understanding of the sacredness of shamanism.
Oh yeah.
It is a very sacred journey and individual to everything. And it's just so empowering, and the growth that you will find for yourself is amazing. And then once you learn how you can help others with it, that just takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah, there is a responsibility in becoming shaman that is lifelong.
Yep. And I think that's what stopped me from doing this for as long as I have, is that I know once I say that I am a mentor and this is my tribe, that doesn't end in 5 weeks. That doesn't end in 15 weeks. That doesn't end in 10 years. That ends when I die.
Exactly.
That is a shaman mentor. This will be everlasting. I will be a part of you. You will be a part of me forevermore until I close my eyes and there is no breath left in me. Right. And those are the words of a shaman. That is how I was taught. That is what resides with me. And
I will add to that you are always so willing to help when we had an issue. Like you would take time out to help us.
Absolutely.
And that was huge.
Especially in those early weeks.
Yeah.
Those early weeks for each person is intense, and you definitely You took the time. I don't know how you did it. 'Cause I know we kept you busy. I don't know how you did it. But definitely you were available 24/7 without a doubt.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
Yep. And that, like I said, I take it very, very seriously. And I remember being exactly where you guys were and still are. I remember being there. I remember those emotions or those thoughts or those experiences. And that's a big deal. Availability is a huge deal. Anybody can teach a class, you know?
Yeah.
Anybody can sit in front of you and go, oh, I have this knowledge, I'm going to share this knowledge. But it's different when you are consistently available for those little, that may seem like little things, but are huge for that individual.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'll say that being able to work through everything, once you've been able to do that, the freedom of your own self that you feel is amazing. Absolutely amazing. There's just so much that washes away from you that you're like, you're done with it.
Yep.
It's done, gone.
Yep.
And now you are, now you're pretty much like an empty vessel of all the yuck and ready to be filled with all the new knowledge. Now will be able to not only yourself, but continue on healing so many. You have no idea. You have no idea. It just happens.
And I think that's why, honestly, I think the sacredness behind shamanism, that's why you don't find a lot of information online, or you don't find, like you might find some stuff, but it's very piecemeal. You know what I mean? I think that's why, because the ceremonies are very sacred. The rites are extremely sacred. And although we are sharing this journey together, it is so individual upon that person. It is an extremely individual and spiritual experience for that person throughout their journey, throughout their rites, from the moment of their initiation to the moment that they become a shaman in their own right. It's extremely personal and sacred, and I take that very seriously. Extremely seriously.
As each rite brought you through into a new level and a new understanding, you definitely get to see the big picture of life.
Yeah.
Much more clear, including the spiders, you know.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You know, and with each rite, you know, as you go through it, you also become much more aware that although other people don't know why, but they do become much more attracted to you, as far as, especially when they need their own healing and they don't even know it. That's a really cool, and you know, it's very hard to say, because it's so cool that you're able to help people and not have it sound like ego, because it's so not ego. It's just the pure love and joy of being able.
And I know that there was a huge point for some people where shedding that ego, that's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah.
And that week was a very hard process for a lot of people. You know, it's a hard process, because you can think, I don't have ego. Like, no, not me. I'm great. You know, I'm not that person. And a lot of people don't understand the mechanics of what ego does. Ego helps me sit here in front of you right now saying that I have the ability to do this and present this to you. That's ego, right? Now, a lot of people,
absolutely.
yeah, and a lot of people start with the, oh, we have to push ego away and make it go over there, and we're going to ignore it, and no, we're going to block it off. And that's something that I teach, is that all of these things are within us. You know, we have to incorporate them and know when to utilize them for our best and highest good in all of our workings. So why would I say a part of me to sit down and shut up and stand over there? No, you recognize it, you understand it, you get to know it, and you incorporate it, just like you would any of the other energies that are within your body. So that was a hard thing for a lot of people, because they're like, oh my gosh, that is ego. Yes, that really is. But that's okay. It's okay.
We need ego. We got to have it. Without ego, we can't be humans.
Yeah, but I mean, that is pretty much the new age thing, though. I mean, I've seen it taught quite a bit, where, you know, the ego is evil and it's horrible and it's bad, and you make it sit down and shut up and sit over there, you know, like I've seen that so much. So, and that's just not how I was taught, you know, it just wasn't. And I am so super, I think I'm just like that right brain, left brain person, where I have to have proof of like so many different things. So I analyze and I analyze and I analyze, and I read and research, and I think to myself, bye, hon. But I think to myself, like, holy cow, no, that's not right. That's a part of us. Why would we be designed in this manner with these energies if we weren't meant to use them? You know, just my personal...
I say everything has a time and a place that we use it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Unequivocally.
And I think if I want to add anything else to your question about the shaman, is you get a greater understanding of exactly how everything is connected.
Yep. Because we are just pieces. We are small, little, tiny pieces of a much, much larger puzzle, and it's understanding that and learning how to work with that. So I'm going to kind of give a rundown of what the class is going to entail. So it will always be on Zoom. You are going to be required to be on camera for every class for the entirety of the class. So because it is a very oral tradition. So you have to be able to hear and see everything I'm saying, and I have to be able to hear and see everything that you are saying, and you are receiving it. There will be absolutely, unequivocally, no recordings available for classes. So if you are missing a class, then you are missing a rite, you are missing a ceremony, you are missing an attunement, you are missing a download, and you are missing vital information. And you will not be able to proceed with the next one. You will have to wait until the course is ready again to retake the course. So I know that sounds really harsh, but I feel that each and every single person that is a part of the group, it is very sacred to them. And it would not be fair to have their personal journey recorded for someone else's personal benefit. And I take that very, very seriously. And I know a lot of people are accustomed to recordings and being able to watch playback. So I want to be very upfront and honest that that is not part of this. I will not be supplying that. There'll be many recordings of just me talking, but not any other things with other people. So, absolutely not.
Charli?
Yes.
What, just out of curiosity, so everybody would know, because we know what can happen, if they were to miss because of an emergency, a death, or something like that,
That's
what
different.
would happen?
That's
Okay.
completely different. If there is a true emergency, medical or otherwise, I mean, I have 5 kids, you know, I know that we have emergencies. We're human. I get that. But that's your responsibility to reach out to me to find a time that we can get together. But if it's, you know, I want to attend a soccer game or I want to go play in the water, that's not, you know, like I want to go first one, that's not an emergency, you know. It's just not.
Right.
So,
I just want them to understand that emergencies happen, life comes up, and that they wouldn't be like exiled or something.
right, exactly, absolutely,
Yeah.
unequivocally.
Now, my phone had to cool it down. Gone. I will say, taking another same time. Good luck. This is a lot of work, and I'm talking every night. There is a commitment.
Yeah.
There is a total commitment of a lot of work and a lot of thinking. It's not quick. If you are in the process of taking another class, highly suggest not taking class at the same time. I think this needs to be done alone and given the commitment and the time, truly, because this is nothing else. This is from the day one. And if you don't think that, then don't waste your time and don't waste Charlie's time. Don't waste anybody. Because when you are pride, and everyone needs energy. And if you're not, you're full in, then maybe you need to rethink art.
And I want to kind of piggyback on, I think this is what Buffy said. A lot of people, by the time they do, it's called the seer's right. Typically, the seer's right is when people go, after that, they're like, nope, I can't do anymore. It's too tough. It's too hard. It's too much. And it's very common for a lot of people to stop at that point and not continue on with the rites and the passage, which is why I stopped the first course there. So it gives the ability for the second course to pick up if they so choose to continue on. And I think that's kind of important because it is, like I said, it's very condensed. Every week you'll be given homework. And every week you are required to have that homework in order for you to show up to the next class.
And you can't do the homework. It needs to be, you know, there's things to do every day. Some of them are very simple. You can do them while you're driving down the road. You know, it's not like everything has an hour to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of things are, you know, like take 5 minutes and do this, take 10 minutes and do that, and take 5 minutes. It's learning to incorporate these in your day-to-day lives where they become so natural and so normal to you that it's not really homework, it's development. That's what you're doing. You are developing. And you are learning
one example of that is once you meet your shaman, your master shaman guy, you got to sit with them every day, but it doesn't mean you've got to, you know, take an hour and sit and talk to him. You can drive down the road and talk to him. You can be folding clothes and talk to him. He's readily available, just like any of your other guides.
Yep, absolutely, unequivocally. And it's just little things that you're required to do. And I know a lot of people, they do the, oh no, homework thing, but I am Absolutely. I am that person. I am that stickler where it's like, no, I have to know that you're observing and absorbing the information that's presented to you. And the only way that I know that is by the material that you turn in. And it's not like college where it has to be like bullet pointed and, you know, capitalized. I don't even care about that. It's just, you know, I don't care if it's chicken scratch.
Well, and you don't want to go into the next right confused over the last one.
Exactly. I need to really make sure that everybody is absorbing the information that's there. Because like I said, with each and every single week, you will be doing all right. You will be receiving a download. You will be receiving a master download. You will be receiving a source download. And that is a lot for an energetic body. And you have to know how these energies are working within your body. And the homework that is presented to you are going to help you to attune to those specific downloads, if that makes sense. So I know it's a lot to process in a very short amount of time, but I'm trying to be as thorough and honest as I possibly can. There's like very little materials that are needed for like the first course. So it's like you absolutely need a white candle because we will be using that almost every single class. You will need a feather, and you will need a favorite stone, and you will need water, any kind of water. So you got tap water. See, it's like super cheap, easy, to the point, stuff that you have around. That's one of the great things about shamanism, is because it is nature-based. So if you don't have it, go out into your yard and get it. It's pretty easy.
You also need a pen because you will have so many notes because there's so much information.
Yes, it's funny because I turned Buffy into a nerd with my course.
Exactly.
She's like, I never take notes with any of my classes, and I have like 7 pages, and I'm like, that's awesome. That's good. That shows that you're interested and developed.
Charlie, there was just a question that came across the chat about when class will start and possible times. I know you don't get to see them when you're doing this.
Yeah, I do not see them. Thanks. So the first class is going to start July 9th, and it will end, the last session will be August 13th. So it's always going to be on a Monday night. Depending on the amount of people, because I want to keep our classes very small and very intimate.
And that'll be evening, right?
That's correct. So they will always be at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and they will end at 8 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the second, wait, let's see, because I have so many notes in front of me. So the second class will start September 3rd and end October 1st. The third class will start October 22nd and end November 19th. And I'm really, really, really excited.
I'm really, really excited for you.
Yes. Oh, so I almost forgot because I have like all these notes. So for the course, it is $400. But anybody who has taken one of Lillian Suarez's classes, whether it's a mentorship or a workshop, they will automatically get $25 off. It is a requirement for my class that you take her chakra prescription and her oh my gosh, the attunement. I can't even think of the word that she calls it, but her attunement. And she'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And if you've done both of those, then you will have $50 off, because that's what her fee is. So if you haven't done that, then you can take that. I will absolutely take the $50 off for that. And additionally, if you sign up, what is it? If you sign up by, I think it was June. I'm sorry, I have so many different things.
I think it was the 29th.
Was it the 20th? Thanks.
I think.
Okay, so June 29th, if you sign up by then I will take another $50 off. So I'm trying to make it as inexpensive as I possibly can. I also am very cognizant of energy exchange, so I'm trying to be cognizant of that. Because each class will be roughly 2 hours.
Now, Charlie, will that be $300 for each part of the course, or $300 for? Okay.
Yep, that's for each part of the course. Thanks. I totally didn't even think of that.
I got you.
So it's absolutely, I will also have I don't know if you want to call it a questionnaire or an application. I don't want it to be considered negative at all. What it is it's just me asking you a few questions about where you're at. So if you do take the course, then I know where to start. So how your responses are with those questions, let me know where you're at in your development. Because that's important for me to know, you personally, because there will be a personal rapport with each individual student. It is not, I will look at the class as a whole and we are moving along regardless of where you're at. It is very much an individual basis, because as in my beta group, everybody was at different places and I worked with them individually to make sure that they had that vibration at a very specific frequency so we could move over into the next rite. And I find that to be extremely important. So I think that's pretty much, I think I covered pretty much anything. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free to ask anything right now if you do.
Come on, I know people got questions.
Charlie, I do have one question. Like, I'm looking at the second part of the class.
Yes.
And I know that I will be away for one of them. So would that be an issue?
Well, like I said, if you are signing up now and you know you're going to be away for one, then you would have to get with me.
Okay.
Okay. And not trying to sound snotty, but it would have to be, our schedules would have to work together to make it up.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So.
And you need to do that before the next.
Right.
Right.
Yep. Because it's the energetic processing for each rite is what's so imperative. You can't like do 5 if you haven't done 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can't just jump.
Right.
Because it's too hard on your energetic body. There's a reason why it is presented in the fashion that it is.
Okay.
So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, unequivocally.
All right. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Each class is roughly about 2 hours. Sometimes we go over, sometimes we don't. I also do, there is 3 individual, and we do that. I do it personally with each person because it needs to be that way when you journey. I can't like have an entire class journey at the same time. So it would have to be an individual appointment to set up for the journey.
Oh, come on, Charlie. Let everybody journey.
I know. Could you imagine me? It's like, nope, 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 nope.
Yeah.
So, but it's really fun.
I have a question.
Okay.
So if I followed you properly, what I have is your first class is $400 and each successive class is. And then you have two $50 off and a $25 off with your terms from Lillian, which would bring it down to $275. Is that correct?
I think, yeah, it should be. It should
Okay.
be $275, or no, it should be $300, right, Buffy? Am I right?
Yes, 300.
Yeah, it should be
After
$300
discount.
after all of the.
Okay.
And that, again, that applies to every single class. So it's not just the first class. It applies to every successive class after that.
And where do you sign up? Do you have a website?
I will post again.
Okay.
I will post again exactly where you will sign up to. I will put you in a chat also for you guys to kind of get together, because that's where I will post the questionnaires and information that you may want now. And you can pull it from there, but you would mail or you would email that to me individually. So it's not going to be public consumption kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And anybody else have any questions? Concerns? No? God, you guys are an easy group. I was blessed today.
Does everybody understand what Charlie has said? Like, has everybody followed everything, or is anybody
Okay, I'm trying to read this.
Lillian just posted, can you repeat the dates again?
Oh, okay. Can I repeat the dates again? Yes. July 9th through August 13th will be the first course. And then September 3rd through October 1st will be the second. And then October 22nd through November 19th will be the last. But I will tell you, like, with my beta group, we're still meeting. It doesn't end, because I think it's fun. And I want to make sure that it's not like, okay, I learned, now I'm done, because there's always growth. There's always things you can learn. There's always ways to enhance and grow, and it's good to connect. And that's the whole point of this, is we are a tribe. When you are done, when you are finished with all of the courses, you are part of the tribe. There's an actual initiation. And that's
the best part, when you get to go be part of your tribe.
Yeah. I mean, it is. And that's how I was taught, and that's how I honor my mentor by that, by following in those footsteps. And it's a very big act of pride for me to be able to do that, to carry on. So, but it's fun. And I encompass I know people do, every teacher, every mentor, every person, they do things differently. And as I stated earlier, mine will absolutely encompass every shamanic practice that I am familiar with. So that will include, primarily, it's very heavily based in Native American. It will include Peruvian. It will include Andean, Aztec. It will include, believe it or not, Judaism, because yes, we have Jewish shamans. And it does touch on Celtic as well. So because I want everybody to understand that we're all just pieces of the same puzzle. That's all it is. They're labels. We all do the same thing. And it's interesting to know all of those different practices and how each particular culture embraces shamanism and their way through heritage. So, yay! If you guys have any questions after this, if you're anything like me, you're like, darn, God, I forgot, I should have asked that, you know, feel free to message me. I have no problem with that. Like I said, I will absolutely post a email link, and if you want to be put in the chat for the questionnaires, just let me know, because that's going to be a lot of fun where you guys can kind of get together, and it's good to know, you know, your tribe, and kind of, that's a really important part of it, is getting to know your tribe and who you're with, because it will be your tribe. So it's a really cool, energetic experience. So awesome. Well, I thank everybody for being here. Thank you for your time and your patience. Thank you so much, Monica and Buffy, for joining me and taking the time out of your day. I truly, truly appreciate it.
We thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you.
Really, really.
Love you
Like
all.
nothing else, amazing.
I hope that
Probably
everybody
hearing you
listening
cry.
gets, yep, I hope everybody who tuned in will have the interest to join, because it is definitely going to take your spirituality, your healing, and your life to a whole new level.
Oh yeah, I totally
absolutely.
forgot about that. I tell everybody, like, I want them to take a picture day one, and then I want you to take a picture when you're done, and see the difference in what you just visually look like, you know, by the time that you're done, and see where you're at spiritually, how much different you are, how your practices are, how you feel. You know, words, a lot of people with words are phony. Energy never lies. So, and that's why the picture can say 1,000 words, because that energy never lies. You can see where you were at and at the beginning and where you're at the end, and see the difference in between that. So,
very true.
Yay!
Awesome. All right.
Thanks,
look
Charlie.
forward to hearing from you all, and I hope you have a really blessed day. Thanks so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, Charlie.
Charlie, love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.